Hello and welcome to the Mitre 10 Cup semi-finals wrap-up, brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul behind DrivingMaul. What we're going to do is we are going to run through the 4 games and also include my post-match interviews that I had from the Waikato versus Northland game. So first up we had Tasman hosting Canterbury, and a lot of people were kind of backing Tasman until they saw towards the end of the week that Canterbury had their All Blacks back for this game. So a lot of people were changed their opinion at that point. 2 yellow cards in the second half really hurt Tasman, and Canterbury came back from a 13-6 down at half time. Let's say Curry's and Jordan's 2 yellow cards both directly led to tries soon afterwards. So Canterbury make it to their 10th final in 11 years. Congratulations to them. There definitely were questions in about kind of what players should and shouldn't be allowed sort of come back and all that kind of stuff for these sort of games. But anyway, Canterbury won that one. Then on Saturday, the first game on Saturday was Waikato versus Northland. It was 21-all at half time, but Waikato had all the play in that first half, and Northland had just taken their chances extremely well. Waikato's only tries in that first half had come off set piece, and then they came out in the second half, up the pace a bit, and improved their execution and left and kind of ran away with it after that. 2 yellow cards in sort of the last quarter weren't enough to get Northland back into it, and it finished 48-26. Let's hear from Roger Randle first. So here we are with Roger Randle, assistant coach of Waikato, after the semi-final win over Northland. In the end, a comfortable victory, but in that first half, just failed to execute initially.
Yeah, it was. We'll take the positives out of that game. You know, as a semi-final, it was pretty warm out there. Got 6 tries, created a lot of opportunities, but I don't think we finished and executed as well as we wanted to. I think defensively we were poor at times, and Northland come and did some really good stuff, but I thought defensively we need to be better than the way we started that game.
Yeah, and Jack Debrasini managed to find a few gaps for at least for 2 of the tries. Rennie Ranger, well, you always expect he'll do something at some point during the game. It was their big names that really that hurt Waikato in that first half.
They're good attackers. You know, they are good attackers. But I think defensively we were a bit slow to react, to connect, and our one-on-one tackling wasn't good enough. So, as a team, we spoke about that at half time, and fortunately they got a yellow card and managed to score 21 points in that time, and pretty much put them under a lot of pressure, field position wise, and squeezed them a wee bit in that early second half. And I think that was probably where the game was won. Yeah, you were pressuring in the first half as well, and that got them through a lot of work. As you said, the temperature. You guys had obviously quite a few subs fairly early in that second half. Was the temperature part of that? We wanted to play with tempo. We felt it was a disjointed game through errors, mistakes, and whatnot. So we ideally wanted to play at a higher tempo than that. We felt like we might be able to stress them a wee bit if we could play with that tempo. But fair play to them, they come back and hit back a couple of times in that second half, which put us under pressure. So not ideal, but to get a win and give us another week is awesome for us.
Yep. And Sever Rees comes back in the side after being rested last weekend. 4 tries. Got to be happy with his finishing at the very least.
Yeah, that's right. Like, he was outstanding again today in his 50 minutes to get 4 tries. So. What can you say? He's a pretty integral part of our group, and he's a good team member, and the boys love him. So,
cool. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next weekend for the final.
Yep. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And next up, if I can figure out how to run this thing, we will have the head coach from Northland talking about his season, really. So we are after the Waikato Northland semi-final with Darren Witcombe from Northland head coach. In that first half, you guys managed to weather a lot of storm and also get some good attacking from your backs. They managed to find some good holes.
Yeah, we did, mate, and it was really pleasing that we managed to be able to play our game a wee bit.
the yellow card obviously at the end of the first half, and they let Waikato back in, and then in the second half things just sort of went away from you. Obviously made the semi-finals. A bit of a disappointment season. I think you've kind of had better aspirations, maybe.
Possibly, mate. I think overall we're quite pleased. To be fair, we've got a young group, and we've lost a lot of experience from last year. So we've picked a lot of club rugby players. So though I wouldn't say it was a disappointing year. I mean, we made the semi-finals, and we've given a lot of players some really good experience. So hopefully they'll grow from that and be better for it next year.
I had a chat with your assistant coach last year, and he was saying how you guys bring a lot of work into strengthening your club scene. So, and obviously, so a sign of that with all these players coming through, that that work's starting to pay off.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I think it's just just picking our local guys. We've got to trust them. You know, if we want our province to get behind us, we need to pick our local guys. So, and we need to upskill them. So.
When you talk about Province getting behind you, I was up there for the game against Waikato. Sold out the main stand, some good crowds. So the people up in Whangarei are getting behind you and enjoying the rugby you're playing. Yeah,
they are, not just Whangarei. It's the whole province from Wells to the Cape Reinga. So we've got support from all over, and it's a huge area. But the supporters have been great.
Well, you've done very well growing the side since over the past 2 seasons. When you had that game that season with just 1 win, then you came in and have done well in the last season. So well done, congratulations, and I look forward to watching you guys next season as well. Good luck.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Cheers. Thanks, mate. Catch you later.
And finally, we have a quick chat with Fletcher Smith and about his move coming up to. So here we are after the. Semi-final between Waikato and Northland with Fletcher Smith. Another good kicking day for you, and happy with obviously the result.
Yeah, really happy with the result. Obviously, at the start of the game, we weren't too happy with the way we started. They got on top of us with a bit of pressure, and we just looked a bit asleep. So got a bit of a telling up at half time, and we came out and luckily got the job done.
Yeah, and you enjoy your move up to Hamilton. You've obviously, I think Joel was saying you were 90+% with your kicking so far this season.
Yeah, I'm really loving it. All I want to do is come up here to a new environment and challenge myself in a different environment, like I said. So I've made some really good mates, and I'm really glad I came up here.
Yeah, by the sound of things, you've been obviously chatting to the family and friends in the stand there. So you've built up a good support network up here as well, even though you have moved away from home.
Yeah, it's really good. The fans up here are really supportive. So luckily we got through to the final, so hoping to get a good crowd next week. And
also you enjoyed the experience of being a shield holder for a few games this season.
Yeah, obviously. Well, would have been nice to hold over the summer, but that's just the way footy goes sometimes. So potentially we could face them next week. So we'll sit back and watch them beat each other up, and we'll be prepared for next week.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and prepare for next week, and looking forward to see you in the final.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers. So there we go. Those are my post-match interviews from the Waikato Northland semi-final. Obviously, Northland very disappointed, but had a good season for them. They are growing, definitely well up there in that province. And if you look at someone like Southland, who haven't won a game for 2 seasons, and you think that Northland 2 years ago only won 1 game and were on something like a 20-odd game losing streak themselves, how things can be turned around in a short amount of time. You know, also, Waikato got relegated last year, doing well this year. Auckland should have been relegated last year, to be honest, but luckily they had someone who was slightly worse than them, and suddenly they're top of the table and in the final. So teams can be turned around relatively quickly in the Mitre 10, the Mitre 10 Cup. After that, we had the Auckland Wellington semi-final. As I mentioned, Auckland are in the final. They beat Wellington 38-17. And it was 24-10 at half-time. So you've got to say Auckland really had the better of the game, got themselves on top, and always looked in control of this one. The forwards, I mean, Akira Iwani had a very big game. 2 tries, showing how good he is with ball in hand and driving over. And a lot of people sort of saying, "Hey, look, this guy should be in the All Blacks. He should have missed out." It's never been his ball in hand that's kind of where there's been sort of question marks around his game, but probably was that not getting picked has put a bit of a torch under him, and he is wanting to prove a fairly significant point. Another player that wanted to prove a point was in the hoop, but came up just short, was Brad Webber in the Otago versus Hawke's Bay game. Finished 20-19, and I'll be honest, this game looked like being a Hawke's Bay win all the way through. I couldn't see how Otago were going to get back into it. They just weren't. They trailed at half-time at 3-14, but when they had the pressure, when they had the attack, they just weren't creating points. Whereas Hawke's Bay were much more able to take their opportunities. In the second half, it mainly went, obviously, most of the scoring was by Otago. They had most of the upper hand, but again, they weren't scoring that regularly. I mean, they scored after 10 minutes to get their first try of the game. Brett Emerson then showed some real wheels and showed what he got during that game. Just stretched out to 10-19, but it wasn't until the last 10 minutes where Otago got those 10 points to get them over. A try from Tompkinson, and then the conversion and the penalty from Ioane, with that last penalty on the buzzer. So really was a very close affair. And I think Hawke's Bay probably played the better of the rugby and perhaps deserved to get through, but didn't. Otago, a lot of people talking about the Ranfurly Shield hangover. Obviously, they did have a couple of days of celebrating the fact they got that shield. And now it does create that chance for revenge for Waikato when Otago come back up for the finals. So the two finals on the Friday night is going to be Waikato versus Otago. I'll be at that game. So do follow me on Twitter at DrivingMaul for half-time and full-time reports, and also interviews with the post-match interviews as well. Obviously, I'll put my video out on YouTube about that. Also, I'll be at the Auckland game as well. I've applied for media accreditation, so hopefully I get that to be able to give you those post-match interviews from there as well. Two cracking games. So first up, to say Waikato Otago. Otago last time up beat Waikato in the last regular season game of the season to take the shield away and have the shield for the summer. In the other game, we have Auckland versus Canterbury on the Saturday at 4 o'clock. So don't it's an afternoon game. Don't be trying to dial in at the normal 7 o'clock time, and that's because of the I've gone blank. It's because of the Bledisloe Cup game that's on in Japan. So Canterbury, Auckland finished 29-34 with Auckland winning away at Canterbury during the regular season. That's going to be a cracker, though. It's also going to be interesting to see which players the teams have and who are they going to be missing because of the various tours. Not only the players going to Japan for the Bledisloe Cup, but also the extra 19 going there to play the Japan game, and also the Maori All Blacks when they head over to the USA for their game against the USA Eagles. That's the same weekend as the Japan game. So we're going to have to. It's going to be interesting to see what sides the different provinces are able to pick. Anyway, that's my wrap up of all the action from the Mitre 10 Cup semi-finals. Do enjoy the finals and enjoy whatever. Oh, don't forget, that's right. Up there to subscribe, down there to subscribe to my All Blacks channel, because obviously we'll be doing Bledisloe Cup post-match stuff down there, and then up there and down there a couple of videos that I'm sure you would love to watch as well.